Hello and welcome back, Boxer1 here, and continuing to look at these LEGO games. We're today going to be looking at Frog Rush. We're going to be talking about how to play. It's a pretty small and simple game. And we're also going to be looking at the minifigures, the actual board itself, again, pretty simple, and the Stork, which we'll talk about later. So, I do hope you'll enjoy, and let's get into it. Now, this game was released in 2011 and is the special edition. It has 20 frog pieces. I mean, it is Frog Rush. You'd expect there to be many frogs, and you do get many frogs. And we're going to be looking at all of them, as well as the little stork that you can see goes right in the middle of the board. And he is actually kind of the main bad guy of this entire game. We can look first at the frogs, and there's nothing special about them other than that you get a very nice red, yellow, green, and brown one, so it's kind of cool colors. They're just your normal Lego frogs that you'd see 1,000 times, and you probably have a bunch of them, and they're very cool, and I like them, and I try to collect all the colors, but they're very cool little frogs, and you just get 5 of each, which is pretty good actually. Brown Frog has appeared in a lot of Harry Potter sets, green in many sets, and then these guys are slightly rarer, but they're not expensive or anything. And they just have a stud on the bottom, which makes it easier to remove them from their spot, and they just go adjacent to the color brick on the other side that matches them. So like brown and brown, red and red, yellow and yellow, green and green. Very simple. The stork is pretty simple also, but it does have some cool parts uses. It uses a spyglass if it will focus, which it is not liking. There we go. A spyglass on the bottom, and that's very cool. That is a very cool piece there in orange. I don't think I have that piece in orange, but otherwise it's a pretty simple build, but it's still a pretty cool one. And yeah, he just goes right in the middle of the board. And looking at the board, this is what you get. It's pretty simple. It's on a 16 by 16 base plate. It's not like one of those flat base plates. It has anti-studs on the underside, and it's a bit thicker, but it's still a nice little base plate, and you do get, of course, a bunch of little spaces for your frogs. These are the areas on the sides, as I showed earlier, that you put the frogs, and in the middle is the stork, as I said, and these bricks representing kind of water, where the stork is kind of hunting the frogs. And I'll tell you the objective of the game and everything next, and then also how to play, now that we've looked at kind of all the builds and stuff. But first, we have to look at the dice before we actually get into how to play this thing. And with the dice, you also get a crowbar, which you can use to get under the piece and actually take off those tiles if you want. The first 3 are very simple. They're movement tiles, representing 1 space per move. So you could grab this, and then if you roll a 1, you only move 1 space, 2 spaces, 3 spaces. Very simple. The next 2 are kind of interesting. They are these blue ones. They have the leapfrog symbol on them, and for them, you actually get to grab your frog, say you're brown, and this green one's in front of you. You can't go around it, or you can. You can move diagonally, but if you get a leapfrog one, it really is so much easier. You simply leap over him. Very nice. And the final one on the dice is the orange tile, which is the stork. And the stork is pretty simple. It eats frogs. So if you get the stork, you can eat an opponent's frog, which really hinders them, obviously. So say you're green and brown's in front of you, and you get the stork, you just take his space, basically, and you eat that frog. Now, you can play 2 different ways. If you want to revive the frog, you can skip your turn. I see people do that as one of the rules. There's no real simple way to do this, or you can just bring him back to the start if you want. So you can do either or, really. It's your choice. The main objective of the game is to get all your frogs from one side to the other, which is the one with their matching color there. And if you get all 5 frogs to the other side, you win. It's simple as that, and it's quite a simple game. But that being said, it is quite fun, and it can be quite chaotic if you have like a bunch of frogs in the middle here, trying to get all the way to the other side, and then you have the stork eating everything, and he also blocks the space, so no frog can go in there. You can't really leapfrog over him, so you got to go around him. So it's kind of an interesting game to play. And also, if you are not going with 4 players, you can do a 2 to 3 player version, or a 3-player version, I should say, with all these. And this is a very cool little thing you get in the back of the instruction manual. You can build this little thingy here, and you can have your frogs there, so they can all race to this one finish line. And that's pretty interesting. You just put the stork in the middle, and it's a pretty simple game. So, very cool. Or you can put them on the sides, of course. Very nice. But yeah, other than that, it's pretty simple. As I said, it's not a complex game, it's not a big game, and I actually got this one for, I believe, $7.20. I know that because I had the price tag on it this morning while I was getting it out to review, and under the price tag was this guy. I thought that was kind of funny. But yeah, I'll do a once-over of the box so you can kind of see the cool art on there, and we'll also look at the back just because we can. That kind of tells you some more of how to play the game. And this also would come with a manual on how to play the game. I got it sealed, and it didn't, so I don't know. But yeah, it's a pretty simple game, so you don't really need a manual. Even if you just look it up, it's very simple. But yeah, I do hope you enjoyed, and I definitely enjoyed. I like this game. This is actually a very cool game to me. I like frogs, Lego frogs to be specific. So it's a very good game if you do also like Lego frogs. Anyway, I do hope you enjoyed, and I shall see you next time where we'll be looking at something maybe different. I know we'll be looking at something different on Monday of next week because it will be a very cool, massive Ninjago set, if I remember. Anyway, I do hope you enjoyed, and I shall see you next time. Goodbye.